You look like a superhero.
I'm a superhero. Have a shower.
You banged your head. Lucas? Wake up, please.
999, what's your emergency?
Come on,
Is the
come
casualty
on.
breathing?
He's not breathing. Help, please. Please, he's not
Okay,
breathing.
stay calm. An ambulance is on the way.
No, he's not breathing, he's
Do you need to
crying.
perform CPR? I'll talk you through it. You're doing good. Help is on the way. Count the compression so I can hear you.
Please. Help me.
They are entering your street. They should be outside now.
Nope, I didn't die. Although for me, what I'll see in the next 2 weeks is about the same as being dead. This. Yep, nothing. Yet all around me, it was this.
Please. Help me.
I won't remember any of it though, and that's probably a good thing. It's my girlfriend Pepper who I feel sorry for, having to see me like that.
Hi, Lucas.
Lucas, do you know where you are?
Keele University. What? I've never even been to Keele University. Believe it or not, when you come round from a coma, you don't automatically think, bloody hell, I've just woke up from a coma. Now, I think the drugs has a lot to do with this. So you've got your morphine, your diazepam, God knows what else. In fact, while I'm had to give the impression that for me the last 2 weeks I've been living in some sort of black void, it's not entirely true. Now, I don't know when it was, obviously, but I definitely dreamt. Now, I read weeks later that the kind of medication that they give to coma patients can cause vivid dreams. The types where you're being pursued or chased. Yeah, I definitely had them.
Oi, where do you think you're going? The boss thinks that you are spies.
Of course we know.
Well, he's told me to give you these. A 3,000-word essay to prove who you say you are.
Not a problem. At this point, I'd just say, I've got a master's degree in English. Just think about that. This is what my brain is telling me is happening to me right now. You know, I'll do yours as well. So I was in hospital for nearly 4 weeks. Sudden arrhythmic death syndrome. Fantastic. The days passed, coma induced. Needless to say, I don't remember any of this. In fact, weeks later, I would come to visit the staff on the ward, and they'll be looking at me all wide-eyed and amazed at my progress. But inside I'm thinking, who are you? The next section though is the rehab ward. This is where the night time brought its own little thing. She wants to kill me. Yep, this is what I actually believed. This nurse is going to inject me with poison.
Hey, hey! Hey! I'll call the police.
Good. And when you call the police? This is no threat when drug-induced logic is involved.
You're in hospital. Now you need to get
I'm skipping over this bit as it's a bit vague and more than a tad embarrassing.
That's why I get back into bed, because you do fine. I'll just cover you up.
The thing I remember the most was all the days merging into one another. Nothing to do but just lie there. Visitors and well-wishers would come and go. It felt like it went on for months. Now, towards the end of my stay, it was agreed by my consultants that I would have an ICD, a defibrillator, and pacemaker inserted into my body to monitor my heart. A pacemaker. A month ago I was playing football. But as Pippa often reminds me, and quite rightly so, the alternative was death. And it was just something I would just have to get used to, the fact that I now have a heart condition. I mean, she's right, of course. After all, I was clinically dead. But then I was thinking it was some kind of psychological hurdle that I need to overcome. Something that many people have to accept, that their daily lives have now been changed drastically. Until one day, after some physical exercise and a walk up some stairs, and after a simple test in which a specialist could check that I could remember some GCSE maths, which was a miracle in itself, I was discharged. Vampire-like, I emerged from the home I'd spent all this time in over the last month.
Stop pacing. Look, just try and calm down. Calm down.
Can't. It's been 6 weeks, I'm going nuts.
Look, it's not like you can just go skipping down the road. With everything you've been through, you can't expect things to go back to normal. I keep trying to tell you, you need to take it easy.
I know this. It's just that from my perspective, I've been asleep for weeks, and now I'm awake. I can't remember any of it. It's like I nodded off. Like a dream. The problem was, I failed to address not only the seriousness of what happened to me, but just how lucky I was. I mean, look at it. What if it had happened here? Or what if I hadn't woken Pippa up with my big loud feet? Or 60 seconds later. The odds of surviving a cardiac arrest outside of hospital are 1 in 20. And then there's a chance of not enough oxygen getting to my brain. Although I reckon I probably did lose a few thousand neurons or brain cells or whatever. This would happen a few times.
Hey, do you remember that dog we saw on holiday?
No. Yeah, it's a precarious thing, life. I've beaten the odds, and that's something that a lot of people weren't so fortunate to do. And I mean a lot of people. You have a look in your local paper any given week, just how many people just drop down dead, just like that. But all that didn't seem to matter to me though, because I was climbing the walls. It was a bit of an arsehole actually sometimes. I know, but from my perspective, I've just been asleep for weeks and now I'm awake. And I can't remember any of it. It's like I nodded off, like a dream.
I was ushered into a small waiting room. I felt numb. I didn't understand what was happening. The ambulance lady came to me after several hours and she said it doesn't look good. I should start making some phone calls. The trouble was I couldn't get in touch with anybody. I just sat there. It just felt so surreal. A doctor came out a few hours later and said that Lucas had been moved to ICU. I was led into another waiting room and I felt so sick. Hours passed, hours, and then I could see Lucas and I got to be prepared because there were tubes all over him and I didn't listen. I walked in, and I saw him there, I saw him lifeless with tubes and machines, bleeding. Just sat there, empty, numb. My mind had just shut everything down and tried to play the events back in my mind.
Pepper?
Yeah?
I think my ICD's just gone off.
You okay?
Oh!
Just look at like out. You're gonna be okay.
I felt at first
Stay down.
like touching an electric fence,
You okay?
but then that
Stay
soon
down.
escalated to
Calm.
feeling
I'm
like
gonna
being
phone an
kicked in the
ambulance,
chest
okay?
by a
Just
horse.
breathe.
4
Just breathe
times I
for
got
me.
shocked,
Stay
so that's
calm.
4 times my heart rate
I'm
and
gonna phone an
rhythm
ambulance, it's all
made
gonna
my
be fine.
ICD
I don't know what else to do,
think
Pepper.
he's having another cardiac arrest. Let's give him a shock without thinking it could be abnormal rhythm. Oh no.
What?
It's another 6 months I can't drive.
It's alright. Hello, ambulance, please.
Funny the things you come out with in the crazy situations. So 2 months since my cardiac arrest and I'm back in hospital. This time I'm not strung out on all sorts of medicines, but I do feel a new sense of fear. From where, I don't know. See, I was just lying there, and as I started to think about what had happened with my ICD, I then started to think, what if it happens again? And then I started to think, what if it happens now? And this created some sort of internal panic and an unsteady rhythm. It was almost self-fulfilling. So I get worked up by the thought of going into fibrillation, followed by a shock, therefore going into fibrillation. This time I saw a different consultant. They upped my beta blockers until my heart rate was at a good level. See, I think for people who have an ICD fitted, there's an element of, we'll save your life, patch you up and send you on your way. Any fine tuning can be done if something like this happens in the near future. Ta-da! Where are you going?
It's the kitchen.
I could no longer be left alone. Pepe had become my security blanket, my carer, my crutch. Ah, Pepe. I think a word at this point of how this affected Pepe. It's so easy to think that, oh, I've had a cardiac arrest, so I deserve all your attention and support. But what I needed to realise was just how much Pepe had done for me. She stayed by my side when I was in a coma, and she nursed me when I was at home. Now she had to put up with what was essentially a child who couldn't psychologically be more than a couple of feet away from it for the fear of getting shocked or dying. And of course, as the ultimate argument winner, what am I supposed to do about
I
that?
don't know, you could try.
I do try. I try every single day.
Not enough.
I do try.
I'm sick of it.
Look,
I'll
just
tell you
stop.
all the time.
Just stop. Just stop. Just
You
stop.
think it's
Look, I
fair?
can't hear your voice anymore. Just stop.
Oh, I'm sorry, I saved your life.
Well, that trumps everything, doesn't it? Come in. When people are being cared for, it's also important to think about the one doing the caring.
Hello?
You might be one of those people who are doomed to die alone. They don't call you narcissists for no reason, you know. When your life is in a constant state of total disarray, no one wants to listen to what you have to say.
Hey, calm down. Come on.
Yeah, should we get in there?
No, you're gonna be fine. It's the drugs. Listen.
About your politics as if you're always right, always up in arms and angry, and out looking for a fight. And you're so desperate for attention, you've forgotten to be kind. Yet you think that you're a victim, 'cause you're the only thing that's ever on your mind.
So this is what happened. My brain, at the moment of relaxation, will suddenly allow all kinds of feelings and thoughts in all at once. And to go along with that, I would also have physical sensations in my chest, almost like being slightly winded. And this will come in waves, almost like the physical sensation of having a panic attack, only without the emotional feelings that go along with that. And of course, me being me, and after what happened, I will quite easily convert these into mini panic attacks. I feel sort of unworthy of using this term, but I definitely think I was suffering some kind of trauma. And this is how it stayed for a number of weeks. And let's not forget, I had a defibrillator surgically inserted into my chest. So I was very wary of every twinge and muscle spasm. But the weeks became months, and despite the study of cognitive behavioural therapy and the promise of counselling that never came, I come to terms with the fact that only time was the healer. They say that time heals all things, and that you could always forget. But the smiles and the tears across the years twist my heartstrings yet. So the more time that lapsed without any incident occurring meant that my brain started to think, hang on, maybe he's not going to have a cardiac arrest. Maybe he's not going to get a shock. This is, after all, what I was expecting in these moments. It's like there's somebody hovering over me all the time in some secret bunker. Like an old, early Soviet film about montage. But instead of a bowl of soup, it's a button that administers the electric shock. Until one day, Pippa, of course, had to go back to work, and it was still far too early for my return. So I was to be left alone for the first time in a long time. And that's that. No epitaph, no grand scheme, and as time goes by, the threat of being shocked inappropriately diminishes. The omnipresent button pusher seems to become further and further away. If you think the story has lacked a narrative, that's because I found that life itself has no narrative. There's no closure on the last time you do something. You don't think, is this the last time I'm going to have this particular type of sandwich? That film I watched last night, is that the last film I'll ever watch? I've got so much more to watch, and it was rubbish. As one literary critic says, we humans require an order of illusion and narrative. You only have to look at social media for this. I mean, people put things like, oh, I found my happy ever after, or I'm finally happy. But life doesn't give you these convenient pointers. Nor will it set it out in chapters that you can just conveniently bookend. It's only one long chapter, punctuated by a series of vignettes. And it's so unbelievably fragile. You just got to enjoy it. Make the most of it. Because one day, whether you like it or not, it's gone.
Morning stares you in the face again, cracked window glass. chaos, leaking pain, constant batter, endless rain. There's nothing from this day to gain. There's life and love swirl down the drain. But for all we see and all we know, the stunted lives that fail to grow, abandoned people left to rust, will soon become just bones and dust. Will soon become just bones and